Hello, everyone. I'm Vanessa Worthington, and we're here in Mental Arts with John Worthington. And today I have two guests, John and Paul. So we already know a little bit about John. So, John, if you want to say hi, can you please? And then after that, then Paul.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody again. Nice that you came down to visit.
Paul?
Hi, everybody. My name is Paul Grenci. I teach a class called Program Theory, which actually follows after the Dyad and follows after the introduction class. And happy to be here, too. Nice to see you all.
Okay, well, so today, so a lot of our listeners are just getting introduced to like all the seminars and workshops that we do, but we also do what's called an MBO, right? And Paul, you own a business, and I think you've been following a little bit about how John does business and everything, and so, and I've heard you guys both talk about it, and I find it fascinating when you guys, throw like curveballs at each other. So if you guys, the way that you guys entertain me, if you guys can entertain me again for about 30 minutes, that would be awesome.
You might need to poke us here and there, get us started.
Yeah, so John, what's an MBO?
There you go.
Okay, an MBO. There you go. An MBO is actually nothing more, nothing less than a program for a business. It's kind of like let's just call it that. It's a program for the business. If you think about a business as a living entity, then the MBO is the perceivable structure or programming of that living entity as to what it does, how it functions, how all the things that it's supposed to do. It's all found in the MBO. It's all indicated from the MBO. And so the MBO it consists of 4 parts. And these parts were actually put in place through this fellow named Peter Drucker, who was pretty much in charge of the economy of Japan after World War II. MacArthur called him up and said, "Come see me over here, son." And when MacArthur said jump, everybody asked how high, and so Drucker at the apex of his jump said, "What would you like, sir?" And he said, "I want you to take care of. I want you to restore the economy of Japan." Nothing to it. So what Drucker found out was that Japan was still pretty much a feudal lord society. In other words, they were still run by the samurais and the samurai thinking. And so what Drucker did is he said, okay, look, here are your objectives, samurais. All you army people can understand this, I'm sure. All you fighters. What you have is an objective, and I want you to obtain that objective, but I want you to do it between now and 5 years from now. But you're going to do it with this business that you have, this fabric, this factory you've got. And so what he did is he said, okay, I'm going to break this down into 4 parts so that you can understand them, just like it would be a military campaign. First of all, we have an objective, and that objective is out there in a ways. Now, we may have a mission overall, but we have an objective for this campaign that we're on at the moment. And it lasts for he says no less than 90 days, no more than 5 days, or 5 years. Let's just say that's right in there someplace. And so that means that this business is going to accomplish something in that length of time. Now, the accomplishment is made up of various parts. And so those various parts are called goals in an MBO. And the goals are simply where you say, okay, I want to make this amount of money by this date. I want to have this infrastructure in place by that date. I want to have that infrastructure in place by that date. I want to integrate these goals by that date. I want to have everybody working on the same project more or less by the end of this year. And then by the end of the second year, I want to have this out to the public so that it's and so there's a rollout, there's a planning for it, and so forth. All that's there in the goals. Then there's a way that it's done. It's just a simple way that something's done. It's the strategy. And strategies are funny things, okay? for instance, Kodak once upon a time had a strategy of opening up drugstores on Sunday, because that way they could sell film to the after church group, because they couldn't sell any more cameras because everybody had one. So they started wanting to sell and process film. So they sold them through the drugstores, and they had the drugstores to open Sunday after church, so people would stop by and have at that time you could get a soft drink or ice cream or a soda or something at a drugstore, at the soda fountain, and that's what they did. And so people would stop by the drugstore for something after church, and they'd buy some film, and Kodak made lots of money.
Ancient history.
So that was their strategy. Recurring events is the last part of it. Recurring events are really nothing. They're nothing major. What they are is they're things that we do over and over. But they're not events that reoccur. They're events that are recurring. For instance, a sale is a recurring event, because there are no sales that are the same. There are no two sales that are exactly the same. Every sale has to be customized for that person, because businesses are relationships. All relationships fall under the category of that we talked about, I think, the last time with the functions. But in a business, then what are the types of relationships, and when are those relationships evoked? Could be a pattern to follow for recurring events, for instance. There are other patterns that also can be followed, and some recurring events don't follow a pattern. They just have to be there, like paying your taxes. Although that one is a reoccurring event. So that's the general outline of what an MBO is. And I went over it so fast that anybody who was listening said, "The hell was he talking about?"
There were 4 categories. Bring everybody back, right? The top one's the objective, and then there are goals that support the objective, and then you've got a strategy, which is a unique way that a company does something. Yep. And underneath that, you've got recurring events, the sale that's going to happen again and again and again, but it's going to be different each time.
Yep. For example, what kind of process do you put together to make that happen for the people? What's the innovation that you're supporting? All those things are things that have to be considered, and those are the recurring events. Doing the recurring events in a business in the way that's prescribed will achieve the goals every damn time. That's what it's for. That's why that's how a military campaign works. There's a goal. We're going to take that hill. We've got to get what do we got to do? We got to get the soldiers up there. We got to get the equipment up there. We got to get the food up there. We got to get the ammo up there. We got to get the tanks up there. We got to get the rocket launchers up there. We got to get all this up there so we take that damn hill. And so what do? Well, we move the trucks up with the Humvees and whatever the hell it is that they have to do. You know, all of the logistics thing goes into it, and they do it over and over. None of them are the same, though. Every campaign is a different thing. There are different recurring events. That's how it is in the business too, I think. Yeah, every business has its different recurring events.
Yep.
So, did that answer your question, Vanessa?
Yeah, a little bit. So, when how do I say this? So, who in the business does the MBO? Who are the main players to do this, and why are they the players to?
Well, in my mind, the people who do the business or do the MBO should be the people who understand what they're doing. And so, if I go into a business and I want to find out what the MBO should be for, or what the recurring events should be for, let's say the cleaning crew. Just as an example, I don't really want to talk with the boss's secretary about that. I want to talk to the boys and girls out there doing the cleaning. I would say, okay, what is it that you guys actually need to get this done? Mm-hmm. Okay, where does it fall apart for you? Where do you have to work harder? What things can we do differently? What is it that you guys think you have to get accomplished? Because they're the ones out there that are doing that thing.
Mhm. So people would probably be like, okay, so what's the difference between a business plan and MBO?
Gee, I don't
Business
know.
plans aren't worth all that much.
No, well, and then people have said those words, so that's why I'm bringing them up. So
Yeah.
Well, that's a legit question. A business plan is not a program. Okay, so an MBO functions in a way to direct an outcome. Okay, like as John said, if you do the recurring events, the goals will be achieved. Therefore, the strategy will yield the objective that you're shooting for every time. All those things will happen. But a business plan, it's not an operational program. It's a bunch of I wishes and wants, and somebody told me I should write this out and make it look like I thought about things. I mean, I'm not trying to poo-poo it completely, because it does help you frame some of the things you're going to need, but it is not operationally effective. It's just a reference point.
Yeah. And it's a reference point for after the fact. It doesn't tell you what you're doing.
Right.
It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you where you're going. It doesn't tell you if you gotten there.
No.
None of it. It says this is what we'd like.
That's really all it is.
Please.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never operated this business for a day, but I've got a business plan. That's a business plan.
I've seen people do that for golf courses.
Ooh.
Yeah, really.
That can't work out well.
Well, there was money lost, I think.
All right. Well, now, Vanessa, you've played around with MBOs yourself, haven't you?
yeah,
You know people get stuck in certain places.
yeah, I think that they get like I know that I've always gotten stuck in the strategy.
Yeah? Why?
Because it's always like something that you're gonna like. That's the thing. That thing. Like, it's not that I've gotten stuck at it. It's that to say what I actually do, because that's what the strategy is, right? The thing that you're gonna be doing.
No, it isn't.
How
you're gonna be doing.
Yeah, think about it. It's how. Okay, for instance, the MBO that we use here in the tank office, the strategy is to close at the point of agreement. Close the deal at the point of agreement. It's the moment that you get the agreement, you close the deal. Okay, that means if somebody says, okay, well, yeah, I'd like to float, you say, okay, well, when you want to come in. That's closing at the point of the deal. If somebody says, well, I'd like to have the class, well, okay, when can you send me the money? When can you send me a check? When can just before the class you can start, you can pay this much and you can get in the class. It's okay. That's where you close the deal. Now that's a strategy that works in everything, but we have recurring events like be generous. We have recurring events like ask and answer questions. Those are recurring events in a tank office. So I mean, I'm not explaining all the stuff to you here because that'd be boring, but that gives you examples, because that tells you how to get it done. It doesn't tell you what to do. In fact, that's something that an MBO should not ever do. It should not tell you how to do it, other than to say, do it this way. Do it. Make sure that you got this thing covered. The rest of it, I don't care. But this thing here has to be done in everything that we do. You have to be at this level of understanding, this level of quality, whatever that level is. You know, in a retail store, it's often that the customer is always right, even though the customer is never right. The customer lies. The customer lies. You know, come on. When you send something back, you don't tell the truth about it. You lie about it.
Yeah.
I just went grocery shopping at Stu Leonard's, a place around us, and their tagline has two rules. The first is the customer's always right. The second one is if the customer's wrong, see the first rule. Because, it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen because they're not going to be wrong.
Right.
We have a client, a doctor, and he says that his most big petite with his clients is that they lie to him. Like, so are you taking this? No. Did you do this? No. I really need to know this because I'm going to give you medication. So please tell me yes. Oh yeah, I probably maybe did that. then it changes.
Yep. Try doing a rewrite.
Yes.
That's a slippery situation.
Yeah. Do you remember this part that you wrote down about
2
what you
weeks
said?
ago?
Okay, here, let me pull this back up here. See, you said that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you forget about it, or are we talking about something else now? Yeah.
No,
But
yeah.
no, it's not a bad thing. Memory is not as reliable as we think. It just isn't. So, okay. So, what else did you want to know about with MBOs, kid?
No, well, like how, like as Paul, that you use them in your business and everything, and I know that, like, if you can explain, like, how did you go about it, and like what was the process? I don't even know. Like, I don't even know how to ask
Well,
you that question.
Vanessa, maybe the question should be is that, do you think that people are aware that they already have an MBO?
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't think they are.
I know they don't,
But they do.
but they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like us with programming. We already have programming.
Right. It's just a way to talk about something that's already happening.
Mm-hmm.
And to pull it out of the shadows and into the light. So you say, oh, that.
Okay, well, why don't you guys talk more about that? Like, why do you think that? Why you guys say that people are not aware that they already have an MBO? What does that mean?
Well, have you ever tried to run an MBO class?
No.
You have. No, you have. You tried to work with some folks once before.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, I remember.
And there's like, well, I don't understand what you're talking about. First of all,
yes.
Right? I've never heard of it before. Second of all,
mm-hmm.
Third of all, I'm not sure I believe it works. And
Mm-hmm.
none of those three things matter. if you're paying somebody and you're getting paid to do something, and you hung a shingle on a roof, and then you're experiencing all of these pieces, you just have no idea that that's actually happening. So it's running you instead of you running it, right?
Yeah. So you're at the mercy of your MBO rather than using your MBO as a management tool. In other words, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there.
But think about it, right? Somebody's running a business and it's going bankrupt. That sucks, right? But that's what their current MBO is structured to create.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can prove it. Show me your books,
mm-hmm.
right? Like,
mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't believe in an MBO? Well, I can prove to you that your MBO is kicking your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Now what? Do I have your attention yet?
Mm-hmm.
If not, I can't help you.
And I don't want a vaccine either.
Yeah. But really, it doesn't matter if they believe one way or another. It's not going to change the reality of how that organism, which is a business, right? It's a group of people functioning together towards an objective. If your objective is not well calibrated, it could damn well be bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
The same, it could be true if your goals are unrealistic, or if your goals are things that you don't really need to have at all. I think that's a big one, is that people are doing things that just don't need to be done.
Yeah.
You have, that's where most of your money goes away, is to salary, because people are doing things that you don't really need them to do. That one's a big one, and so having an MBO will tell you what it is that you need to get done, actually, and when you need to get it done, because you're looking at how you planned it out, and how the people that were involved with it thought would be the best way to execute that plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you limit yourself to those four sets of thoughts, let me see you do that one before you tell me it needs to be more complicated, okay? That one's more complicated than what most people can do. It's not that they can't do it. It's that they struggle with it. Because they have to fight with themselves about what's real for them in their business and so forth. What's important to them, and that sometimes they have to stop and really examine that carefully.
Well, that's where the MBO actually really helps the person, I think, within the business, because the business's needs start to become like inarguable. Like they're right in front of you. You can't say that's not that. You can't say anything but that needs to happen, right? So when you're
Right.
there and you're like, well, I don't really want to do that, and you're like, oh shit, is that the problem?
Wow.
Because I'm not big boy enough to do that thing. Now I'm not going
Yeah.
to run my business properly. Well, I don't know if I want to be that kind of business owner.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll put my big boy pants on and get that thing done that I don't want to do, that my business is telling me I need to do.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yep. But an MBO will not solve all of that. An MBO will simply will send is a map that will or a plan that will make you run into all of that. It won't solve it though.
Nope.
No, it won't solve a damn thing. But it'll tell you that that's a brick wall. And you'll say, oh, ow, ooh, ooh, my nose is hurting again.
I don't want to hit that one again.
And so then you back up and rear off, and it will charge back and, oh, look, I did it again.
Damn it.
Oops, I did it again.
So what you guys are saying is that, okay, so a business person comes up and says, hey, so I'm going bankruptcy, and you guys are like, okay, well, what goes on? What's the daily function? And so that would tell you what their MBO is, what they do.
Well, I would go the other way. I'd say, okay, well, what was your objective this year?
Right. What were you trying to do?
What is it you're trying to accomplish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what are the goals that you need to accomplish in order to make that
And they
that
say,
objective a reality?
Know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
that's what their MBO is.
That's what it is right there. It's like, well, let's just kind of make that up as we go along, or whatever. You know,
Oh, so
it always worked for Dad.
Your goals are to lose less than 3 clients a month, okay, and your recurring events are to not collect money and sell anything. Okay, let's go. Good luck. I mean, when you talk about it like that, it literally backfills into what you've created. Like, you can literally see every decision, every recurring event that you're currently using that's got you to where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's why we can say that it's a business program, because as sure as God made little green apples, that you have recurring events. Everybody has recurring events in their business, and if the business isn't making money, those recurring events are things that either don't need to be done, should not have been done, or they're not being done properly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're not actually being done. In other words, they're being attempted. Oh, I'm going to try to do better this time. No, screw that.
No, but that's a really valid point to bring up, John, because, you know, when you're running an organization is made up of people, right? And people have particular nuances about the things that they will and will not do for whatever reason that might be.
Yep.
Again, if the business requires it and I'm running the business and I pass down this message that you need to get that done in this way, and I don't care if you like it or not. Well, here we are.
Oh, Paul, you've never done such a thing. You're such a kindly old man. Yes, I know better than that.
Kindly, but, you know, I do those things.
In other words, you can kick ass and take names when it's necessary. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it does.
So why in the Dyad do you have the couples do a MBO?
Because it's a
or the partners, like it's the Dyad. Sorry, because it's not just couples; it's for any Dyad.
Because it's more than a person.
It's more than a person.
A couple can't write a goals means program. I can, but we can't.
Oh, because it has to be more than one person to do. Like
Yes, because you have to have okay. Think about it. Think about it from the functions class, okay, or from the functions or the playing field. Okay, I myself, I can deal with my own programming. I can write a goals means program for me myself. Okay, that I can do. However, I have to change how I think about things, including goals means programming, and what programming actually means in a social or in a business or in a relationship type of situation, as opposed to what it means for me singularly. Now, to do that, I have to have a shared objective. I have to, we have to both agree that this point that we're going to move our collective assemblage points to is acceptable or agreeable to both sides of the equation. And
Okay.
when we do that, then we're going to be able to find a harmonic place to interact. Then the next question is can we exchange information? Now, what is the exchange of information? Can we actually talk to each other in such a way that we can reach goals? The next thing is empathetically, what is the one thing that we're doing here that makes this product or this service viable? And then what intuitively, what is it that we have to understand that we have to get done every damn day? We have to get this thing done so that we can get that thing done, so that because this is a part of that. This is another cog in that big wheel that we're building here. Now, you put all those together and you have an agreement because both sides have done their collective, let's say, work or collective input. Mm-hmm. And so we know that that's done because that piece that we're trying to accomplish, that goal, has been accomplished. We can see it done. So then we can go and do the same thing again to reach the next goal. Mm-hmm. That stands to reason right straight from the playing field. And so, I mean, Drucker didn't think about it that way. I think about it that way. I think Paul probably thinks about it that way somewhat. But business is like that. Business, that's what a relationship is. And it's all about the relationships. And so in a Dyad class, what I want people to do is I want them to see that what they're doing has the same sincerity or the same reality as a business has. And what they're doing is the same kind of thing. They in fact are a creative business entity. That couple. Mm-hmm. They are creating a life for themselves. They're buying houses, cars, schools, school books, educations, retirements, insurance. They are a money-making machine, and what they do together is creative, and that's why they make money. It's inventive. And so they should have a program structure, I think, that benefits them to do that, or is user friendly toward that kind of an idea. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I probably ran my mouth too long for that.
Would you stop being apologetic on this? Yeah. Any questions, Paul?
No, not from that one. No, that was a long one.
Yeah. No, but that was really good because it does give me another perspective. Well, like I knew that, like you can't as a couple, like you are a business, so it only made sense. But yeah, it's more in depth of why and how and everything. So thank you for that.
I think Dyad couples or people that come to the Dyad class are looking for relationshipy things, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole communication thing, just to be able to figure out what's my objective. I mean, not for nothing, but I guarantee you, everyone that took this last Dyad class, their objectives did not start off in the same place at all, right? They're like, wait, you want to do what? Like, really? I didn't know that. I thought we were on the same page. What the heck happened? No, really. I mean, people have been together a long time. They make assumptions about what they understand, and communication is an exchange of information bidirectionally. So if somebody's like, "Whoa, I did not know that," we're communicating, and I bet you didn't know this. They go, "No, I didn't know that." We're communicating. This is pretty cool.
Yes. Oh wow!
Yay!
Yeah, it's funny.
So it's a good format for the MBO is a good format to get people to engage in those activities that a Dyad needs to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's painless. I mean, any couple, I don't care at what level, whether it's a parent and child or a married couple or a business partners, whatever. Give me 10 things that you want to get done.
Right, it's not a bad conversation. It's a fun conversation. It's like, hey, what kind of cool stuff do we want to get done together?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's condense that 10 things down to as far as we can to one. Maybe there's 3 or 4 things left over, but what's the major thing here? Oh, wow, that's cool. Who knew?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, and then they start thinking about it. Well, sometimes they don't think about it. Sometimes they say, with her, I'm never going to do that. Not with that bitch. I can't do anything about those except say, oh, that's cool.
No.
You guys say,
Sit
all
back and
right,
watch.
right.
And
Yeah.
again, you picked her, so
Can I can I sell tickets to this?
Right.
So, hey, what else you want to know there, kid?
I'm good for tonight. What do you think? Do you have any questions or add anything, Paul, to
No, only that, MBOs are out there. You want to learn about them. We know how to
yeah.
teach it.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep. MBOs are really the best way to get help with an MBO, or even whether it's for a couple or whatever, is to actually connect to what we're doing on Patreon. I think, right? So
Yes.
so they
Yeah,
can
we'll drop a
so they can
link
have
for you.
access to Paul, or have access to me, or to me and Paul, or whatever for a month, and we'll exchange ideas with them.
Yeah,
We
we'll
sure
drop
will.
a link there and let them click and see what we have for that, and
Yep.
ask us how to get more involved.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. And again, if you haven't liked us on Facebook or on YouTube, click and we'll drop a link and or a comment and stuff, and we'll drop a link. You drop a comment, and that's good, right?
Sounds good to me. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Good
Good
night,
night.
boys.
Good night, all.